quick update on Terence. How's things going with him? He had his parade in Colorado. How was that?
Everything's going good. He just texted me. Yesterday and said that Spence activated his rematch. Is that Paulie Maldonado up there?
Paulie's here, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He just activated his rematch.
That's confirmed, is it?
Huh?
That's confirmed.
That's confirmed, but we don't have a date and stuff like that yet.
So do you expect that fight to happen before the end of the year?
I'm hoping.
We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Errol Spence has insisted on triggering the rematch clause with Terence Crawford. Despite the first fight looking how it looked, Errol Spence is not satisfied with that. That's what I want to talk about in this video. We unpack. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Best in the business, and it's not even close. Now, I made a video yesterday talking about it. I want to go in depth with my series Unpack. Make sure you guys subscribe. Errol Spence has officially triggered and activated the rematch clause for a second fight. He wants his straps. He lost 3 straps to Terence Crawford, who brought in the WBO strap, and he lost them all on one fateful night, July 29th. Errol Spence is not satisfied with that, and his contract offered a bilateral rematch clause. What does that mean? Bilateral, bi meaning two, like bicycle, 2 wheels, right? It means that both fighters had an opportunity to exercise a rematch. So if Crawford would have lost, then he gets to exercise a rematch clause. Same thing goes for Errol Spence. Now, we know that Crawford didn't lose, and we know that Errol Spence did lose. So as a result, he was on the losing side. That doesn't sit well with him, so he wants an opportunity. And listen, there's a lot of boxing. This is why I got to make the unpack, because there's a lot of people that don't know about boxing in boxing. You know, I understand that I'm a pioneer in the game. I made a lot of people want to do this. There was a lot of people who were saying all types of stuff for real. I heard people saying that Errol Spence let the rematch clause expire and he wasn't going to do or pursue the rematch. And then days later, Bomac says something to contradict that while he's in the UK training his current fighter, Chris Eubank Jr., for an important rematch for his career because he was stopped, right? So it's just funny. You guys got to be careful where you get information from, because there's all types of different sentiments in boxing. Some people said Errol Spence, he didn't want no parts of Terence Crawford. Errol Spence continues to defy the odds, coming back from car wrecks, coming back from detached retinas, and now, for the first time as a pro, coming back from a bad loss. I got no choice but to respect Errol Spence for this decision. Listen, people could ask me, like, oh, hey, would you take the rematch? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because he is the one that had the rematch clause, and he feels like, first of all, and I'll make another video because something came up, and I want to make a video because a lot of people, I haven't heard anyone talk about it, but make sure if you want that video, make sure in the comment section that you leave a comment that says, what happened? And then I'll explain. If enough people say what happened, that means you're paying attention to this video, and I'll make the separate video about something that no one's talking about regarding Errol Spence Jr., right? So all you have to do is type what happened in the comment section, and that'll cue me to make the video if enough people say that. So Errol Spence, it doesn't really matter if I think he should take the rematch or if you think he takes the rematch or whatever. The point of a rematch clause is to legally and contractually bind somebody to their words. And like Joe Budden said, Velcro his tongue, hope do stick to his words, Joey, right? he has that legally binding contract. So if he feels he can do something better, then that's on him. It's obviously going to be a lot of pressure because to lose, especially in the same fashion, or like, let's say you lose and get knocked out sooner, then that'll be his career will be in peril. But Errol Spence, he's about that life. I think he knows and probably molded over with his family and his advisor and things like that. He knows what he's up against and he's still pushing the button. So for me, that leads me to believe that there's something that took place that given night where they feel Errol Spence could do better. Because here's the thing, hear me out. Canelo Alvarez, he lost to Dimitri Bivol and he had a rematch clause. And you never seen Canelo push the button on the rematch with Dimitri Bivol because it looked like Dimitri Bivol had Canelo's number. He was taking the little arm punches. Canelo couldn't really hurt him. It got to a point late in the fight where Eddie Reynoso was like, hey, you got to just box this guy. It's too late in the fight. You can't hurt him. Something to that effect. So the point I'm making is simple. If Canelo, who after the fight, he said that he won the fight. He said that he believed that he beat Bivol and Bivol only won a few rounds. So if you really and truly believe that, then why did you never do a rematch with Bivol only to instead fight a 42-year-old? Hell no, guys. Hey, Max, guys, this is Triple G Golovkin. It makes no sense. Fast forward to the future, you look at a guy like Errol Spence, and he had a bad night in the office, seemingly couldn't get off and do anything on Crawford in that given fight. And he's still pushing the button like, yo, I want to run back. Now, some people will say, oh, he's just looking for a retirement payday and he's just looking for money and stuff like that. But at this level, I'm sure Errol Spence has made a lot of money and there's other ways to do it. If you're a guy like Errol Spence, you've already made millions and you got dominated in a fight, I don't really see him in his temperament unless he really truly believed that he can do better. I don't see him taking the fight. Like he would just accept the L. He didn't make no excuses. He would just accept the defeat and then move on and fight Brian Castano or move up or whatever. So to me, this could be a good sign for Errol Spence that the rematch could be more, at least competitive. Not saying he beats Terence Crawford, but at least a little bit more competitive, because on boxing, you got to look at this. There's this thing like shock value, and somebody could just shock you and put it together and then put it on you, and you weren't expecting it. You weren't ready for it. This also broke the dry spell of inactivity, which was Errol Spence's fault. Errol Spence, I think that was a bad decision to fight a guy like Crawford and be Mr. No Tune-Up. Sometimes you have to swallow your pride and do what's right. But Errol Spence, he's famously said, if I can't beat you, I don't need no tune-ups. If I can't beat you straight away, then I can't beat you, or whatever he said. But I think that was a bit stubborn. There's a little bit foolish pride on Errol Spence's point, because you got to understand, like, a loss in boxing could derail your whole little wave. Your paychecks could shore up the amount of fans that come out to your fight. So it could be catastrophic for you to lose in boxing. So you got to play the game. You got to play the game to win, and don't give yourself a harder task than need be by giving up your leverage. I strongly believe that. Just a quick example, like if you feel you could whoop some guy and then the guy's Russian, don't take an away game and fight him in Russia just to try to prove a point. That's stupid. If you're the A side, why are you going to fight him in Russia? Another reason why I don't like this for Errol Spence, it doesn't matter now because he already did it, but I'm just giving you my opinion on it. We unpacked. The reason why I don't like it for Errol Spence is because if you listen to it, Crawford in the first fight was the B side, and the things he was asking for as the B side were almost things as if he was the A side. He wanted more money. Errol Spence said we had to give him more millions. He literally told Sean Porter on his podcast when they were just negotiating that he refused to fight Errol Spence in Texas. But you look at it, no one else, everybody else played their position more so than Crawford. And you could say it worked out for him because he got the result that he wanted. But Danny Garcia had no problem fighting Errol Spence in Texas. Your Dennis Ugas, a champion at the time, had no problem fighting against Errol Spence in Texas. You had Mikey Garcia, who moved up in weight and had no problem fighting him in Texas. Ocampo, who was his mandatory, no problem fighting him in Texas. But then you have a B-side at the time in Terence Crawford, and he said outright that he wasn't going to fight Errol Spence in Texas. So in my opinion, for a B-side, Crawford was being difficult. You know, he was being difficult and very stern and a stickler for what he wanted and the treatment he felt he had earned. But on paper, and if you look at his numbers and stuff like that, none of it warranted some of the extras that were thrown in. So that I really give a lot of credit to Errol Spence for just being easy to work with and just like, all right, he wants more money, give it to him. Okay, we can't fight in Texas where I would definitely have the crowd advantage. All right, fine. Oh, he wants to do a coin flip. Okay, fine. So Errol Spence was agreeable this whole process, and it came to bite him in the butt because not saying that all these things put together would be the only thing, because it looked like there was other issues like weight that had more of effect than the negotiating like tactics and antics and stuff like that. But still, why make your task harder than it needs to be? You see what I'm saying? So if your opponent, for me, I'm stubborn. So I'll be like, you fighting me in Texas. If I'm a Texas fighter, or if I'm from Cali, you know, I'm from Cali, so you fight me in Cali. If I'm the A side and I earned it and I was doing the better numbers and stuff, we ain't doing no coin flip. You fighting in Cali, you fighting with the gloves that I want. You know what I'm saying? That's just how boxing has been. But Errol Spence, he's definitely different. And now, you know, he backed himself into a corner. Now he's in a do or die fight. So I am interested in this fight because anytime it's a do or die fight like this, Joshua versus Ruiz, Wilder versus Fury, is usually a high level of interest from boxing fans to see if it's revenge or repeat. You know what I mean? And either way, I'm giving Errol Spence a ton of credit because he has the heart the size of Texas. Because from the outside looking in, and every spectator and radio personality, everyone who's commentated on the fight, everybody's saying the same thing, is like, Crawford had your number and it wasn't your night. It was a bad night in the office, and he still don't care and wants to do a rematch. That's crazy. That man has a crazy heart. I do hope the fight happens at 154 because I think that had a lot to do with how flat Errol Spence looked. I don't know that it changes the outcome, but it could. Maybe it doesn't. Guess we have to find out. We unpacked. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.